Hey guys, today we are going to be talking about the 10%, the 10-70-20 rule. And as I come across different financial advice that I think is pretty sound, pretty good, I'm going to start doing these videos for you guys that, if you want to follow it, you can. So this rule is kind of based off of The Richest Man in Babylon, which we've talked about. And there's many different methods in that book on creating wealth or just saving or just getting ahead. So the 10-70-20% rule, you could say 70-20-10, either way, it's all the same, which is basically you save 10% of all you earn. So save 10% every paycheck, you save 10%. 70% you set aside for your bills and to live on. So you live on 70% of your income, which is crazy. I mean, that's, if most people really got deep down into their finances, they really could do this. The only thing stopping them is their mind telling them that they couldn't. So save 10%, spend 70% on lifestyle and bills, and then 20% is what you pay back any debts that you owe. So if you have debts, you use 20% to pay down your credit cards or loans, car leases, mortgage, all that stuff. Mortgage probably could set more on the back burner. I would focus on paying those high interest things like credit cards that are now 21+% for some people. And it's that simple. Save 10, spend on 70% of your income, pay back 20%. And basically the method of that is, if you could save 10% and set it aside and never use it, over time it will build. 70% should give everybody enough leeway to not go back into debt, to stop their debt in its tracks where it's at right now. Because if you can't live on 70% of your income, then there's something more wrong than just your income. Then there's something going on there that needs to be a deep dive. And to figure out if there is something going on, you want to have a written out budget. So that means a budget, you basically just simply I would get a notebook and write down all your bills. So basically keep track, and do this for like the first month. Keep track of everything you spend on. Everything. If you go to Starbucks and get a $6 coffee, everything you spend on, write it in this book. This is, you're not figuring out anything else. Just write down everything you buy. If it's a $1 item on Amazon, write it down. Everything you spend, write it down. And then at the end of the month, you have your notebook and that piece of paper or multiple papers that now show everything you've bought. At the end of the month, you write up the total. So let's say, you got 20, 30 different things you spend. You got your haircut. I'm telling you guys, anything. You take your kids out to eat, whatever you do. You spend 25 cents on a gumball machine. You write it all down. And then at the end of the month, you add all that stuff up and you see what the total comes out to. And let's say it comes out to $2,500. And that includes bills as well, so everything. And then you're like, okay, $2,500 is what we spent. And now on another piece of paper, write down how much you made that month. So keep track. Spent $2,500, made $2,000. Whoa. We are now $500 negative. Something's got to change. Something has to change. And now you go back and you look at your spending, and then you see, okay, this is a spending. Now, from that spending page, transfer over to another book or another piece of paper the essential stuff that, okay, I had to spend on that. There was no other option. I had to. And going out to eat, that there's other options. So on that paper, you transfer over, and then you add up those bills and you see what comes out, and then you can realize, okay, this is the stuff that we have to spend on. We have no options. We have to. All that other stuff was just optional, or it was a convenience or something like that. Now you know how much you're spending on just worthless junk, Or and I say worthless junk, and it just Starbucks isn't worthless junk if you love it, and there's no problem with enjoying stuff. But to get on to living on 70% of your income, it must be done if you're struggling right now. So that's one way of doing it. A written out budget, and now after you did your first month, you transfer, you did all of what we just said. Now you start a whole new fresh month, and now you're more conscious of, okay, I need to spend on, what's important. I can't keep doing that same old stuff. And now you start a whole new month with a whole new piece of paper and write down everything you spend. And every time you spend something and you write it down, I want you to really think about that purchase, that coffee, that McDonald's, that whatever it is. I want you to really think about that, because maybe it will hold you back from doing a second stupid purchase. And I say stupid, it's not stupid. It's just stupid if you can't afford your bills, or you can't save 10%, or you can't pay back 20% of debts every paycheck. So you go down through that list, and this will give you a better idea, and you keep tweaking this. Every month you keep tweaking it until you can save 10%, until you can live on 70%, and until you can pay back 20% of debt. So again, 10% is saving $100 per $1,000 you make. 20% would be paying back bills that you owe, $200 for every $1,000 you make. Now you may say to yourself, well, my minimum payment is more than that. And I understand. This is why, if we got ourselves in big messes, this is why it can be very hard. So if you're even your minimum payments and stuff, then that 70% that you're living on, you're gonna have to, this is why a budget comes in play. You're gonna have to really listen to that budget and really decide what's important. So you might have to shift from 70% living on to 50% living on, and then bump up that 20% that you're paying back to debt, and bump that up, or increase income, decrease spending. So that's just kind of a short rundown of the 10-70-20% rule. There's a lot of other different rules out there, and this is just one idea for some people out there. For the last 4 years, I've been studying nothing but business and listening stuff. So I'll give you guys other options, other ways of doing things, and we'll just do videos on that. What I personally do is a little different now than what I did 3 years ago. Like, for example, 3 or 4 years ago, my wife and I basically lived on 30% of our income, 30-40%. And that means we were eating ramen noodles. We were eating junk food because it was cheaper, just to do what we had to do. SpaghettiOs and all that stuff, canned soups. You get soups, look for deals, get 4 cans of soup for, I think we're getting like $2.79 for 4 cans. Well, you split a can of soup, and then we have like vegetables. You do what you got to do, and who cares about what other people think. So what my wife and I did, we really scummed it. Like, we really scraped the bottom, cutting our electric bill down under $100 when it would normally be $190 a month. We have natural gas, cutting that down to $20 a month bill versus $60 a month. Like, really just going crazy with getting ahead. And I will do a video on that if that's what you guys want. If you want to see that option's not really, it's not popular. There's also the 50-50 rule, 25-25-50. There's tons of different methods, and this was just one method for you guys, based off of, loosely based off of the Richest Man in Babylon book. So okay, hello jumping spider. Wow, the spider just came over here, and I don't know if you guys saw it fall. It came here and it was hopping. It was just like, probably because the table's really high. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. And if you guys want more videos on this kind of stuff, please leave a comment, let me know.